Evening all, and welcome to another video. Today we're doing a bit of a taste test against two beers, the same beer, if that makes sense, but two different iterations thereof. It's, how can I put it? It's a battle of alcohol versus non-alcohol. It's potentially going to show absolutely nothing, but potentially it could show that there is something to be had in the positive light for non-alcohol beer. Now, it's not very often you get a beer that's produced that is loved and cherished, and they change it around and it works, if that makes sense. Now, my experience of non-alcoholic beer has not been the greatest, let's be honest. I've had some downright mediocre ones, and I've had a couple of pretty good ones, but on the whole, almost all of them have been terrible. And I'm hoping that this one doesn't fit into the terrible bracket. And as the header says, it's a bit of a mystery, because I like these kind of mystery taste-offs, as you saw potentially with my Old Speckled Hen gluten-free versus full-fat version. It's another big brewer. I say big. They're big enough to be known, particularly if you live over in East Anglia. That might give you a bit of a clue. They hail out of Southwold in Suffolk. And the beer, I have to say, the full-fat version is one I'm very familiar with. Enjoyed a lot of it when I lived over that way in East Anglia. But I haven't tried it in a while, so this is kind of a good thing for me, because I'm getting to try something I haven't had in ages. Plus I'm getting to see, is the alcohol-free version any good? Well, let's see. The beers in question are these: Adnams Ghost Ship, full fat and alcohol-free. And by alcohol-free, it's 0.5%, so it's as near as alcohol-free as you're going to get without going to lemonade. The difference, well, they are both citrus-based. Ghost Ship is made with Citra. It hails at 4.5%. and has got the blue label. Ghost Ship alcohol-free is 0.5%, also flavoured with Citra hops, so we hopefully get much of the same, but it's the red label. And what can I tell you about them? Well, let's start with the full fat. It tells you it's a bold citrus flavour, flavoured with citrus hops, and it says here on the back, inspired by the tales of old smuggling ships along the Suffolk coast, this hauntingly good pale ale is full of citrus and biscuit aromas with a spookily hoppy bite. And from memory, that is how I remember it. It's hoppy, pale, and there's a bit of malt sort of coming through as a biscuit flavour. It's 4.5%, it's a 500ml bottle, and therefore it equates to 2.3 UK units. It also suggests you should never drink while pregnant, you should recycle it, and one thing I tend to disagree with, in most parts, it says remember you can have too much of a good thing. You can have too much beer without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, it also, quite helpfully, it tells you that there are 39 calories per 100ml, so it's about 200 calories less a smidge in that one. The full fat Ghost Ship. Let's say the low fat, the alcohol free version, it doesn't have any kind of blurb. It just says not more than 0.5% alcohol. In terms of calories, there's 115 calories. Not bad for a 500ml bottle. But I'll tell you what it also says. It says it's de-alcoholized beer. Now, my understanding is that some of these low alcohol beers are brewed in such a way as to not produce the alcohol, but this one suggests that it's been taken away, which is interesting. I'm interested to see, therefore, just how well it stacks up to the full fat Ghost Ship. And again, it says bold citrus flavours from Citra hops. So I'm holding out, I'm hoping for something really nice here. So, just so we can be distinguishing between the bottles when we drink them, the alcohol free is going to go into my Worthington's pint glass. And the full fat Ghost Ship is going to go into the Guinness glass because I don't have any other pint glasses available to me at this particular point in time. So he looks around rather chaotically for his bottle opener. We're going to start with the full fat Ghost Ship. So there we go, into the Guinness glass. There we go, pale, verging on golden amber. Look at that, lovely colour, lovely hoppy aroma. Full fat Ghost Ship. I'm not getting a huge amount of the citrus hit up front from the full fat, but see what happens. Alcohol free into the Worthington's glass. Similar colour. Same sort of levels of carbonation. Bit more of a head. Well, it's actually got a head, whereas the full fat didn't. Same kind of aroma. Getting a little bit of lime on the nose. Alcohol free Ghost Ship. So, initial impressions from both are good, and they're kept nice and cold, so they are going to be as fresh as a daisy. So let's do a comparison. So visually, let's say the colours are similar. I'd say the full fat Ghost Ship is ever so slightly darker. Not massively, but I'll see if I can get them side by side. There you go. Ever so slightly darker. No head on the full fat Ghost Ship, but the alcohol free has got some head that has been retained. Hoppy and citrus. More citrus than the hops. So we're going to start with the full fat. We're going to sort of bring back the memories of Ghost Ship. Yeah. Malty, hops, not overly carbonated, and it finishes with a nice sweet malt. Beautiful. Yeah. Middling levels of bitterness, not overly, but certainly very pleasant and exactly how I remember it. Beautiful pint of full fat Ghost Ship. Arguably my favourite Adnams beer. Definitely better than Broadside. Personal preference, of course. Anyway, alcohol free. Oh, do you know, that's surprising. It's obviously different, but it's equally as malty. There's more citrus in this, I think, or certainly that I can taste, than in this one. Do you know what? That's bloody good. See, now if I was to take previous alcohol-free beers that I've compared, this tastes more like a real beer than any of them, let's be honest. But I think I'm going to have to get in touch with the guys at Adnams, or girls, don't know who they employ, and find out just what they mean by de-alcoholized. What do they do? Obviously I don't expect them to give away trade secrets, but they do. There's something about this one, the alcohol-free, that I've not had with any of the other alcohol-free beers. It tastes so much more like a real beer than the others, and I suspect that it is to do with the fact that it's de-alcoholized. Yeah, so ingredients wise, water, malted barley, malted rye, hops and yeast. So it's got all the conventional ingredients, nothing added, nothing taken away really from a typical beer recipe. But let's face it, most of the others also say the same. But this one works really well. Now, there's always a sacrifice with alcohol-free beer. And my experience so far has usually been it's the flavour and it doesn't really taste like a beer. And in terms of pale ales, the only one that I've tried up until today, that was remotely good was from a company that specialises in alcohol-free beer. And let's be honest, Adnams, you can't say their speciality is alcohol-free beer. But on evidence of this, the alcohol-free Ghost Ship, they've got something about their brewers that maybe others need to take a hint from, because this, unlike an average Ghost, it doesn't pale into comparison. It's a bloody good beer in its own right, alcohol free or not. And in fact, let's have another sip of it right now. It's got body that most other alcohol-free beers that I've had don't have. It's got flavours that they don't have. There's the maltiness. And I know plenty of the others that I've had have got malt, but quite often that's all they've got. A couple of the others who, for sake of their reputation, I say their reputation, just to save their blushes, they've kind of come out tasting a little bit soapy and maybe a little bit, I don't know, artificial. They've tried to put other things in to compensate for the lack of true beer flavour. Whereas Ghost Ship alcohol free just is not lacking in the flavour. I mean, when you compare it to the full fat one, which is quite clearly darker, the full fat one hits you with more malt, more hop, and that true bitterness. This was a little bit lighter in comparison, but by no means is it lacking in any way. So before I get too carried away and start waffling and waffling and waffling, I want to give you a bit of a roundup of what I think. And we're gonna set an artificial benchmark here. We're gonna use a rating of 0 to 10. Now, we're gonna assume that Ghost Ship, full fat, all alcohol, what, 4.5% ABV. This Ghost Ship, the Ghost Ship that everyone knows and loves. We're gonna start that out as the benchmark at 10. Now, if I was to compare other non-alcohol beers to this, they'd be sitting in very low numbers. But this one, the alcohol-free Ghost Ship, doesn't sit anywhere near the low numbers. For me, with this being a 10, this is not far behind. At worst, at absolute worst, I could knock it down to an 8. An absolute worst. But that's only because for me, this has got that bit more body, that bit more hoppy, malty goodness that really comes through from having everything in it. But this is a bloody good effort, you know. The guys at Adams should be proud of the Ghost Ship alcohol free, and anyone out there who is sitting thinking they want a beer but can't because they're driving or they're at work and they can't really have a beer at lunch, or if, let's say, you've got to get up early in the morning and you don't want a raging hangover, this is well worth sticking a few quid into your local supermarket for. And I say a few quid, it's less than £2 in Tesco's. I mean, you can buy Go Ships 4 for £6 in Tesco. These, I think, were about £1.70, something like that. And it's worth every penny, you know. I cannot say that was £1.70 wasted in any way, shape or form. It was £1.70 wisely spent. And I think with a little bit more emphasis on quality, low alcohol beer like this, they will come down to match the pricing structures of all your regular alcohol. And we know that there's less duty. In fact, there's no duty on these. So, yeah, make of that what you will. Obviously, volume of sales dictates the price, and the more you sell, the more it's going to become down in price. And maybe that will help a few people in many ways. I understand people use alcohol for a reason. Some people, like myself, I just enjoy it. I enjoy the flavours. Some people enjoy the flavours but don't know when to stop. And some people just, well, they just like alcohol. But this one, you could happily sit and drink completely and utterly guilt-free. You could sit at work and have a nice beer at lunchtime. You could sit and have a pint before you drive home. You could even drink it throughout the working day because it's no alcohol. 0.5%. It's like having a Bass Shandy. Bread has probably got more residual alcohol in it than this. So yeah, I want to say very good things about this beer. I cannot say anything bad about it at all. I like the flavours, I like the price, I like the fact that it's alcohol free and tastes very good. And I like the fact that it's sensibly priced, you know, it's under £2 for a bottle, which, hey, can't knock it. And what I would dearly love is for pubs and clubs to start stocking alcohol-free beer of good quality like this. Because, hey, some of us like to go out, enjoy ourselves, but have to drive. And we avoid these places because designated drivers are generally stuck with Coke and lemonade. But we want beer. If we like beer, we want a good one like this. So, pubs, clubs, CAMRA, and I say yes, CAMRA, because I am a proud member of CAMRA. It would be great to see beers like this pushed out there into the mainstream and make them accepted and widely available for all, because, let's face it, it's good for everyone. It's good for business at the pubs because they can then have clientele in who otherwise would avoid the place because they can't drink alcohol, maybe because they're driving or generally just don't want to drink alcohol for another reason. It's good for that part of the industry because it encourages creativity and it encourages competition to make better alcohol-free beer. But as it stands, this, for me, is the benchmark of what I've tried in a non-alcohol sense. So ladies and gents, to round up, because I'm starting to waffle on, this has been Adnams Ghost Ship Full Fat and the Ghost Ship Alcohol Free. Hope you've enjoyed the little bit of a comparison that I've done and some of the waffling. I'll let you be. So thank you again for watching. This has been Adnams Ghost Ship. I've been Nick. I'll see you again soon. Bye.